Your only move is Hustle, the only fighting game in existence that creates epic fights like this. While the gameplay, on the other hand, has so many buttons and gizmos, you might as well need to be a trained pilot to understand it properly. But don't fret. This video will not only teach you how to fly this plane, but certify you to become a full-fledged astronaut. So without further ado, let's get started. In this game, there are two ways to play: multiplayer and single player. Single player is perfect for testing out the different characters, weird match settings, and figuring out what moves do what. To create your own lobby of loneliness, just click on the button labeled single player, select the characters you want players 1 and 2 to play as, then press go. But wait, you didn't want the default settings, you wanted to remove the ability to jump from the game. Go ahead, just modify the settings in this box, give it a stupid name, and click save. Just please, never, under any circumstances, flip this toggle. You will never be the same again after seeing the horrors it manifests. But if you ever do something you regret, don't fear, the undo button is here. You missed the easiest hit in the world? Undo. You stepped on a Lego by accident? Undo. You pressed on the aforementioned button? Well, undo can't save you from that. However, if you are brave enough to leave the safety and security of the undo button and replace it with the omnipresent quit button, you might be ready to try out multiplayer. Filled to the brim with eccentric personalities such as communists, normal people, and communists. Though if you do find yourself creating your own communist lobby, you are allowed to change all the matches played in your domain to the wacky presets you made for single player, and subject these players to the utter shenanigans and tomfoolery you and your mind have come up with. But if you want just the 1v1 battles without associating yourselves with the vile people on the internet, use Multiplayer Legacy, which does away with the hassle of lobbies in favor of honorable duels. But how do you play the game? Well, when you enter a match, first locate your username at the top of the screen. That is the side of the UI that is yours. It will never move, no matter how many times you or your opponents switch sides. This is also the side that your character starts the match on. On your half of the UI, you will find your health bar, available moves, and character-specific resources. Since Yomi Hustle is a fighting game, the ultimate goal is to reduce your enemies to atoms, and combo them so hard that they rage quit before even reaching half health. But no matter how many emotional scars we can inflict with the text box, we actually have to hit them with something. To hit the opponent, select one of the normal, special, and super moves at your disposal. Watch the little preview of it, maybe flip it, mess with the extra stuff that appears, then lock in before that timer reaches 0. It's that simple, right? No, wrong. What I just told you is one of the worst ways to play this game. It will lead to you getting parried, punched, or curb stomped in almost every game. So instead of just clicking on the move that's the coolest, use the undersized thing in your skull called a brain, and check what your opponent can do to counter your moves, and isn't going to lead to you getting comboed yourself. Or if all this thinking just seems a bit too hard for you, you could just wait and sit there looking kinda stupid. But oh no, even after all your planning and calculating, you still got hit. What can you do? Besides resisting the urge to rage quit. DI, short for directional influence. This little blue circle is your second best way to escape combos. Just simply check what moves your opponent can hit you with next, choose one, and DI to get yourself as far away from them as possible. Because your opponent can't continue the combo if you're on the moon, unless they're cowboy. But why can't I just press this button, explode, and end the combo right now, you may ask? Well, you could, but beware. That burst just got parried. And to avoid that tragedy from happening to you, all you have to do is one simple thing. Varying when you burst during a combo will just make it so much harder to predict when you're gonna burst. Therefore, people will stop blocking your bursts as often because they don't want to drop their combo 5 hits in. Then you can come along and just burst them anyways. Also, after you use burst, this meter, creatively called the burst meter, gets emptied and will recharge over the course of the match. Let's rewind though. What if instead of attacking, you decide to do something defensive, like block? How does that work? A block will block anything except for guard breaks, these moves with a red background, and grabs. However, block also does something very special. It can parry. Parries are your best way of punishing predictable opponents, as they remove all of the opponent's actions until you punch them, or wait way too long. It also gives you super meter if you successfully pull one off. But how do you parry? Simply select the move you anticipate your opponent to do, click the block button, and move the slider until the beautiful parry effect shows up. You can also parry other things like shuriken and magic dart, which makes the projectile almost completely harmless as they phase right through you. Parrying projectiles is actually quite easy. Just get really close to the projectile, like stupid close, then block. However, if you failed the parry, then you will either get guard broken or be affected by block advantage. The guard break will just work if that wasn't the move you parried for. However, block advantage is a bit more interesting. Block advantage slows the blocking player's moves down by 1 or 2 frames usually, turning a 4-frame move into a 5 or 6 frame, but some moves do make the person blocking act faster when blocked. Moves like Ninja's Slide Kick and Cowboy's Pommel are some examples of this. One last thing to be aware of is that certain moves will give your opponent frame advantage, even if not parry. The 2 most common moves that do this are Ninja's Uppercut and Cowboy's Backslash. Though if you block and the enemy just kind of misses, your ability to parry will be removed, but guard breaks won't work anymore and instead just give an absurd amount of block advantage. But now, finally, I can tell you all about the least known but very essential mechanic of free cancels. A pretty self-explanatory name. Free cancels let you freely cancel a move if you end up missing, as long as you didn't get hit while the move was going on. All 5 of the vanilla characters have 2 free cancels that only refill after landing a hit, or, getting hit, which isn't very fun. Also, be aware that the game defaults to automatically apply free cancels to every move that accepts them, and if you find yourself wasting a ton of free cancels this way, it can always be changed in the settings. Why is wasting free cancels a bad idea though? Because after running out of free cancels, missing a move will prompt you with the option to whiff cancel. Whiff cancels are just objectively worse than free cancels in almost every way. They use up 75% of your very important burst meter, only then to remove your ability to move in any direction and block, which is very bad. Use whiff cancels only if you have enough time to escape with a flipped move, because most other times saving the threat, just the threat of bursting during a combo, is reason enough to tank a hit. And if you end up missing a move and you just don't have any free cancels or enough burst meter to whiff cancel, all you can do really is pray that your opponent is too far away to punish you before you recover. And that's all the basics to teach. Now you should be able to take this knowledge and win some more matches. Go perfect some noobs who haven't watched this video. Just make sure to keep in mind, Yomi Hustle is a game of prediction as much as it is a fighting game.